Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and we're going to do Melina's second challenge today. That was stamped ephemera, I do believe is what she called it. So we are going to do some stamping, and I'm also going to do some embossing using our white embossing powder and our Versamark ink. So I'm going to do some embossing, I'm going to do some stamping, lots of different things. So first, let me say thank you to a few people who have donated to our channel through Buy Me a Coffee. They're helping us out a little bit, keep our channel going, and I'll keep the products bought up that we need to purchase. So Linda, Veronica, Pure Water 72001, Graceful Creations, Elaine, Dawn, Rita, and Carol. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Now, I wanted to say this because somebody asked the other day, if you don't want to donate through Buy Me a Coffee, that's fine. This is not a pressure for you to do that in no way, form, or fashion. One of the ways that you can help support our channel just by, and it doesn't cost you a dime, is to first subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you are subscribed, if you will leave a comment and hit the like button. Any interaction with our video helps us out. It helps us out in the algorithm on YouTube. So if you just hit that like button and leave a comment, even if it's nothing but, hi, E, how are you? Or liked your video, or just anything. Any kind of interaction on our videos helps us out. So that's another way that you can help us and support us without it costing you one penny. Alright, I just wanted to say that because I did have someone who asked the other day. They wanted to help us out, but they didn't have the money, and I can totally understand that. But, so they wanted to know if there was any other way that they could help, and I wanted to let you know that. Okay, I have done some stamping off on this side of this. This is just a coffee dyed piece of ledger paper. I think I'll start with something else though. Let's see. Let's start with this. And I just have a piece of deli paper below. That's what I stamp off on, and then I use that in my journals. This is from the AJ kit, and it's like that on that side. But on this side, I thought I would like to make some ephemera and do some stamping. I was trying to see which way. This way is up with that writing. So, what are we going to do first? I've got quite a few stamps pulled out. I don't know how many I will use, how many I won't use. I have no clue. But we're just going to start off. I'm going to use this one, and this is from Blue Fern, and I love this stamp right here. I have not used it but one time, I think, if I even used it one time. It really helps when you have stamp blocks when you do this. So, let's see. I've got some glare going on, and that makes my screen go a little darker, so let's see if I can move some things around. And I'm just going to pull out a few different stamp blocks, and we'll get started. Okay. So I want to stamp this one in the background, and I want to stamp it really light. So I'm going to use the brown. And this is Memento ink in Rich Cocoa. And I have not re-inked this one since I've had it, so it may not stamp very well at all. It may be very light. Let's see which way's up. That way. So we're just going to put a little bit of ink down. I'm going to see how dark that comes out. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. I like it. So I'm going to do that in a few places. And then we can cut those out and use them. Yes, I love that. Now I just leave my ink pad sitting there for a second or two. It just helps the ink to transfer, especially when It's very light like this is. Like I said, I have not re-inked this one, so it's pretty light. Now, I'm probably not getting these straight, but hopefully I can manage to cut them straight because I can't get up over them. So it's a little bit harder when you can't get up over them to get them straight. So let's get the trimmer. And I'm just going to trim as I go. Go ahead and stamp that off. I don't think it's got anything on it, but and these will go great in our AJ journal that we're working on now. Ooh, look at that. I love that. I don't know if we have any more of these stamps left. I'll try to check, and if we do, I'll link them below. Don't know if we do or not. Alright, let's see. That one is kind of sort of straight. The one below it is very, very crooked. So let's trim that one like that. Yeah, it's a little bit crooked. Okay. We'll see if we can straighten it up. I guess it helps if you do your block first. But you know me, I'm always doing things a little bit backward. Okay. We'll do this way. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody said it had to be perfect. Alright, I like that. And see, that can be a little card that you just tuck into a pocket. We'll go ahead and ink it up. And I'm just going to use some brown ink. I'm not even going to round the corners. Can you believe it? You don't see very many things that I do like this that I don't round the corners. But not on this one. I'm going to leave it. There we go. I love that. Love it. Okay. Let's see if we can possibly cut this one straight. This one is very, very crooked. I have no clue. Usually when I try to straighten them up, I make them worse. So we'll see. See what happens. Let's see. This may be one of those that we just kind of have to trim around or just tear around it. If it's too bad, we'll just tear around it. Well, yeah, that's a pretty awful job. Okay. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to grab my scissors. And I can kind of see a little bit better than I can when it's in that trimmer. So I think we can straighten it up a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to round the corners, and that will make it look a little bit better too. Make it look straighter. Yep. There's that one. Cool. Like that. So there it is when it's all inked up. Now, a lot of the inking I will cut out because you guys know how to ink. You've seen me ink a million times. But I will go ahead and do it, and then I'll show you the finished product. Now these, I'm just going to cut this way, and then I'll put these in my stash, and I'll finish trimming them or tearing around them or whatever when I start to put them in my journal, just depending on what I need at that time. So I'm going to lay those right there. Some of it you just can put in for just ephemera that maybe you're going to finish up later. Okay. Let's put this stamp back on so that before I lose it. Oh, you know what? I don't want to put it back on yet. I want to do one more thing with it. I'll lay it down this way so I can go to it. I need this one to be pretty straight. That's pretty good. We are going to ink this up with VersaFine. And then I'm going to use the black paper. This is the black paper that we got in the AJ kit. It's just black cardstock. I'm going to ink this up. I hope I have my heat tool plugged in. If I don't, we can plug it in. Okay, and we do have more of these little ink pads and more of the VersaFine ink. Now I'm going to pull this down where I can kind of sort of see it. Hopefully I won't get my head in the shot. I just want to get a little bit straight. Alright. While I'm holding that, I am going to plug my heat tool. I'm going to plug my heat tool in through everything all over the place. Okay. Then I'm just going to use this little mat right here because it is a non-stick mat, so it should empty off real good, real well. And I'm just going to put my embossing powder on there. And I know it didn't all go back in my jar, and that's fine. I can do that later. Now, if I get embossing powder, glitter, anything like that all over my desk, I use one of these little rollers, and it rolls it right up. Because I can't stand grit on my desk. I'm going to put this little glass mat down. Well, I think it's a real heavy acrylic, but I call it glass because it feels like glass. And then this is the Tim Holtz heat tool. And when that changes colors and looks a little shiny, then you have that finished. Look at that. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, it looks blurry in the camera, but it's not blurry, believe me. I think it's because of this black cardstock. Maybe you can see it that way. Isn't that pretty? Very, very pretty. I think I'll stamp a couple of these, because I'll definitely use those. And you could stamp this on different colors. We'll stamp on another color. Let me do one more black, and then we'll do some other colors. And I'm just going to try my best to get it straight, so I don't have to try to fix it. Okay, I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper this time. That way I don't get that embossing powder all over my mat. So I'm going to be using it in a minute for something else. So now I shake it off and then I turn it over and just kind of give it a few little flicks just to get any loose off of there. And then you just cup that up and put it right back in. So put that over there. Now, I don't particularly like glitter because I just don't like it going everywhere. Embossing powder is a little different because, you know, if I get it on my desk, which I always do, I always get it everywhere, then I can clean it up really easy with that little roller. I just roll it right up. So it's a little bit different on an embossing powder. Isn't that pretty? Okay, we're going to lay that color aside. Now, let's see. Which one do we want to stamp it on? Ooh, let's try it on. This is straw paper. Let's try it on straw paper. See what it looks like. It'll look really pretty on blue. I know that. Blue, black, green, dark colors. I don't know about this. I've never tried it. But we're going to try it. And this straw paper I got from Rachel from Roxy Creations. I ordered it from her. And we can use a different stamp in a minute. Don't worry. I'm just I'm hung up on this one just about, aren't I? I like this stamp, but I like other ones too, so we'll use more. Well, it went on there well, so we'll see. Okay. Now let's heat it up. That straw paper smells good when it's heating. Now this may wrinkle, the straw paper. I don't know. I've not used it for this type thing anymore, or before, so I don't know. Well, it didn't wrinkle. Not too bad. So there it is on the straw paper. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay, we'll tear that out in a minute. Now we're going to use a different stamp. Now I use just a baby wipe, and these are just regular baby wipes. They're not anything special, but that's what I've always used on my stamps, and I've never ever had a problem with them. And I do clean the Versamark off of them. Sometimes I don't clean a darker stamp, like a memento, off. I don't always clean that off, but because it will not hurt your stamp. Even if it stains it, it's not going to hurt your stamp. But I always try to clean off the Versamark because it leaves everything real tacky. Right, let's see what we want to do next. Let's see. Do you want to emboss a word? We can emboss a word. Let's just go ahead on this and emboss a word, maybe on a couple of different ones. Now these words are not available anymore that I can find. They're from 49 in Market. They're Gabby's Word stamp set. But I have looked everywhere and I can't find them, so I do not know that they're available anymore. But you are welcome to look for them. I've looked and looked and I can't find them. Okay, we're just going to stamp Create in the Versamark, I mean. And we'll stamp it in some other colors as well. Just going to do a few in these. That did pretty well. Look at that, how pretty. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Okay, let's wipe this off. And we'll put our embossing powder back up. We have this. This is the white. We have, I think, only one gold left. And then we have black, I do believe. Black does really good on white cardstock. Alright, let's stamp Gabby's words a few times, and I'm going to use some of this. This is VersaFine Black. And I'll probably tear around these words, so I'm not too worried about if I'm getting them straight or not. I use that word a lot, so we stamp it a lot. There we go. So that is very, very easy stamping. Let's see. Let's grab another scrap. Here's a scrap piece of the paper that I like to use for my backing on my stamps. And I don't use a stamp pad. To me, they're aggravating and they mess me up. So I use just my hard desk, or like this. I have that hard piece of glass underneath. The main thing is when you're stamping is to get direct pressure and hold it for a second. That's what you want to do when you're stamping. And a lot of it depends on your stamp too. If you have a stamp that's not very well defined, then you're not going to get a good impression. But if you have a stamp that's well defined like these are, then you're going to get a really good impression if you just hold it there for a little bit and stamp it down. Okay, I think that's enough words. I've got a ton of words in my little box up there. I need to do something else. Okay, we can do some of these. This is the Tim Holtz ticket booth, and I do believe we just got in more of these. I don't know, let's see. I don't know if we have the die. I think we have the die that goes with these too. The die set. I'll get it out in a minute. I think we do. Pretty sure. But you can check it out and see if we have some more that would be in the new product probably. And I'm just going to stamp this in the VersaFine. VersaFine is a very good, solid stamping ink. Okay, this has not been used before, so I'm going to hold it a second. Applying even pressure on it. Don't apply pressure back and forth. There we go. And when you're inking, a lot of times it is better to take your stamp to your ink pad if possible, if it's large enough. If it's not large enough, you can bring your ink pad to your stamp. But when the ink pad is made for a stamp to press down into it to get the ink on there. So take your stamp to your ink pad if you can. Like I said, on that Versa mark, you know, it's not large enough for me to do that. But anything that's large enough, I make sure that I take my stamp to my ink pad. And just press it down and stamp away. Now, I won't cut all of these out while we're on screen. I won't do that because that would take me a little while and ink them and all of that. But I will do that off screen and I'll show you the effects. Now see, this stained my stamp a little bit. I don't care. That doesn't hurt it at all. It'll dry and it will not come off on your next project. So don't worry about that. Okay, let's stamp a big one. We haven't stamped a big one yet. Now these are made to stick to your stamp pad. If they're not sticking to your stamp pad, wash them off a little bit, to the back of them. Wash your stamp pad off or your stamp block. Stamp away. It should work without any problem then. Now even the large ones, I take to my stamp pad and I just work them from top to bottom. Look at it, make sure that it has the ink on it. Stamp straight down and hold it. Hold it even. There we go. Ooh, love that. Oops, I'm sorry about the noise. This stamp pad tries to lift on me. Those will be pretty. Oh yeah, love that. Okay, so there are those. Now, let's see. Let's go ahead and stamp this off on here. You can use that. And then I'll wipe it a little bit because I did get a little bit of that glitter, that embossing powder on it. So make sure I wipe that off. Okay, so that's that one. See what else we've got here. Now, I've stamped tons of these, so I'm not going to stamp any more of those right now. We can stamp some of these. I do have, I believe, I'm not sure we still have them in stock, but I have the die that cuts these out. But I don't know that we still have them in stock, so we'll have to check. Now, it's easier for me, and I'm big when it's stamped sideways, just because I can't bend my wrist the other way very well. But you turn your paper and your stamp pad the way that's easiest for you. Boy, did I get a lot of ink on there. This may not stamp too well. I pressed a little bit too hard. Let's see. I'm not going to press it down. I'm just going to lay it on there because I got tons of ink on it. Yeah, that's okay. I just pressed this one a little bit too hard. Okay. We're going to go like this. Okay, see how that is inking up? It inks up really well. Let's see, it's right there. Maybe I didn't touch that down beforehand. Hope I didn't. Yeah, I like that. And we can go ahead and stamp this off. Now, I do have a stamp cleaner. One from Stamp It Up that I got many years ago. But to me, it's a little bit more aggravating to use than it's worth. I also have some little stamp cloth cleaners and all of that. But I don't know. I've just gotten so used to using the baby wipes. They work well. And I can just toss them when I finish with them. That, I just use those. But you can use what you have to clean your stamps off with. Okay, let's use this one. I think this is a very pretty stamp too. Make sure I don't have any embossing powder there. Okay. And I'm using some paper that, this is a digital that I purchased from someone, I don't know who, on Etsy. Just search coffee dyed paper with doily, something like that, and you'll find it. That's how I searched it. Now I'm taking my stamp pad to my block on this one. Number one, because I haven't used it in a long time, and two, I wanted to make sure that I didn't get too much ink on this. And I'm going to stamp it in that doily, just because I think that would make a really pretty tag. So we're going to stamp it in there. And you could stamp something in the background if you wanted to, and then stamp this in the foreground. That would be really pretty. Stamp it in a different color. I just didn't pull out a lot of different colors because, I don't know, I just don't stamp in a lot of different colors. I have them, but I just don't use a lot of them. And I can tell you that the Tim Holtz distress inks do not work that well when you're stamping like this. They're okay, but they're a little faded. Now, if that's the look that you want, then that's okay. But they don't work great. So let me go ahead and move this and stamp this off your pieces. You can stamp larger pieces and then cut them if you want, because, you know, who can read this anyway? It's so close together. Now this is an old, let's see, that won't be big enough. This is an old book page cover. It's that first page in your book that's always clear or doesn't have any writing on it. That's what that is. I save all of those. And I used them. Oh, I love that. Look at that. That's stamped so pretty. It's even got a number up here like a book page. I love that. Now I could go ahead and try to stamp down here, but I think I would mess it up, so I'm just going to use that. That'll be a good journaling card. Let's see if we got another piece that's going to be big enough. I don't think so. Maybe this one. I just flip it over. It won't hurt that I've got something on the back stamped. Now, I don't apply a lot of pressure to my stamps. I know some people get up and stand up and do all of that. You don't have to if you get them inked well, and if you have good stamps, you don't have to do that. I just slid that one. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. No, I did not. But you don't have to do that if you've got good stamps and you've got good even pressure on them. Let's see. I'm going to shake that off because I don't want that glitter on my stamp, or that. I keep calling it glitter, but it's embossing powder. And I love stamping these. And then I use a little bit of the Tim Holtz Distress Spray lightly, and I spritz over it. It feels so good. It's so crunchy. I've got these, but these are basically what I stamped with a minute ago. We could make some small stamps using this one. Let's do that. I mean small tags, not stamps. Small tags. This one, I'm thinking... Now this is not a very expensive stamp. I'm thinking I got this... I don't know, I might have even got it from AliExpress, or I don't know, but you can tell it's it's not a very expensive stamp. I won't say cheap, I'll just say not very expensive, but it still works. Let's see, not that one. You just have to apply even pressure. That'll work. Okay. And I'm going to use this. This is an old piece of book page that came out of the front of a book. And I'm going to use some brown, I think. It's going to be light, but that'll be okay. You can ink around it. So I do need to refill my brown. But we're just going to make some little tags with this one. Sorry, I'm almost out of screen. I'll slide up in just a second. There we go. Oh, cute. Alright, we've got 2 of those brown ones stamped in that. We'll go ahead and use some of the VersaFine. Now I'm going to stamp what little of this brown's on here off. It's not much on there. See, my VersaFine is nice and inky, so I don't have to do a lot of stamping on that, or with that. That will make some cute tags, will it not? And then we can put a little flower, a little stem flower up through there. We'll cut out a few of these in a minute, and I'll show you some things that I'll make out of them. Give you some ideas. Throw that over there, and I think this is my last piece of scrap, and this is out of an old book too. It's a very fragile paper, but I think I'm going to back it anyway, so it's not going to matter. Alright, what I was going to do when I had these stamps, these little tags out, I keep calling them stamps. My goodness, Edith. You're off your rocker. I was going to take some ink and just stamp on these a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to stamp off and then stamp, because I'm going to use these little stamps, and I don't want to have to put a lot of different decorations and things on them, embellishments. So the best way I know to do that is to get a little bit of color on them before you use them. These look textured, but they're not. They're not textured at all. They just have that look. And that stamp works really well for that. And if you're just interested in getting a little bit of ink here and there, you can do that too. I do better if I use my finger on the stamp instead of using the block, but you could do it either way. Alright, we got quite a bit of stamping done. I'm going to finish some of them off. I won't finish them all. I'll just do a few just to let you see how I'm going to finish them, and then you can do your own thing with them. Just gives you ideas. Okay, so go around that. The back is fine. We don't need to add anything to that because this is nice and thick. So there's that one. Go ahead and ink these up. Right, now we'll grab a few pieces to put on here and just give them a little focal point of some kind. Let's see. Sometimes deciding on a focal point is the hardest thing. For me, for some people it's so easy. For me, I struggle because I want to put everything on there. I think that's pretty. Let's see. I have a little, there it is. I don't think I want to put anything behind it at all because it's got a lot of typing writing back there. And I think that's going to work fine. This is one of the stickers that it's like a washi sticker that we had in the shop last year. We don't have any more of these right now because the manufacturer is actually out of them. They have that white around them, but if you will press it down really well, you will hardly see that white. And if you're afraid that you will, just go ahead and take your tool and just rub it back and forth a little bit, and it blends it right in. So that tag is finished other than just putting something through the top. Now let's see what we'd like to put on. This one needs a tall flower. Oh, that might go on that one. Let's see. Oh, I think that would look good on there. And then we can clip that little leaf off. Or would this one look better? Nope, I like the one that's got a little bit of green with it. So we're going to put that one on there. That one needs one a little bit larger. I think we'll put the purple one on there. I like that. Okay, I think I'm going to put that one on there. So let's see what all of that looks like. There we go. And you could put a label up there. That would be okay. I'll put a label probably when I add them to my journals. Right now, I don't know what label I might want. I will probably put a label on this one in the middle just because I didn't do a lot of stamping there. I don't know. No, I won't either. I'll put it up there because it's got that little opening there where I didn't stamp, so that'll work out. Now on this one, I probably will put a label at the bottom right here to keep those stems from looking like they're just floating in the air. There's that one. Isn't that cute? All right, this one, we're going to glue it to some other paper and make a little tag out of it. So let me find a little bit stronger paper. Okay, here's some strong paper. This is an old watercolor paper that we got in, and a lot of it was torn, so I had to get credit for it because they had torn it up when they shipped it to me. They didn't package it well enough. So I sent them a note and they gave me credit, which was very nice of the company. They didn't even question it, which I did send them a photo too, but they didn't question at all, I guess. And I'll probably stitch around these, so I may not put the glue all the way. And let's see, I'm just going to try to keep from wasting any paper that I don't need to. There's a little tag, and I'm just going to, let's see. No, I'm going to use my template on this. I have a template, but I don't have one that's this tiny, I don't think. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. If I can get my hands on it. And a lot of times I need the smaller tags like this. So I think that's going to work out well. Let's see. I don't think I held that right. There we go. Looks a little better. Take our little ribbon punch. Hopefully this will punch a little bitty hole in the top and not. Ooh, no, it's not either. Let's see. Let's move it up so I don't go down too far. Let's see if we can get it. I don't know if this will work. We'll see. Yeah, it worked. So got a little ribbon punch in the top. I think a hole would have been better, but it's already done now, so it was a little bit small for a ribbon punch. So that's a tag. Let's do something different. Let's go ahead and cut one of these out. Now these you can back as well. You don't have to leave them. This is not a real thick paper, so you can back these as well if you want to before you put them in your journals. And again, I'll probably stitch around this, so I'm not too worried about if it's glued down all the way or not. And on this one, now I could use my die on this one and cut it, but I'm just going to trim right at the edges with my scissors. Okay, so there's a little piece to go in your journal. I told you that paper, it takes ink very, very well. Love it. All right, let's find another. Let's go ahead and we'll just cut out a word or two. Let's see. I was going to tear these out, I think. The reason I only stamped a few words is I have got a ton of words up in my little box up there that I need to get used up before I stamp more. Because when I get started stamping words, I don't know when to quit. Now MELINA, I think she stamped bigger pieces, but she just said stamp ephemera, so this is ephemera to me. These things like this. Alright, let's cut one of these out and see what we can do with it. If I can get to my trimmer over here. And all of my mess. When I stamp, I make the biggest mess. I have it everywhere, and I have stamps all over, and paper drug out everywhere, and stamp blocks all over the place. I'll make a big mess. Maybe there. And this is straw paper. Ooh, I almost got that too close. I was looking elsewhere, and then we'll ink this up. Now I would put a backing on this before I put it in my journal because this straw paper is not very thick. But, so there is another journal piece. Then of course you can cut out your little tickets or use the die to cut your tickets out. Now these pieces of the straw paper I will save to stamp the little numbers on. That straw paper is hard to come by, and I don't throw anything away. Another ticket. And then, again, I would just ink them up and put something on the back, and they're ready to go in our journals. Alright, let's cut out one of these white ones. I'm going to just chop a piece off of here. Oh, I say white. These are black. Let's chop out one of those black ones. That's a good stamp piece. These are a little bit too little, so we'll lay those over there. I know I could save them and I could do lots of different things with them, but you know, there comes a point where I just have to stop. I got everything saved. Someone said that they wanted to see my craft room. They didn't know why I wouldn't show my craft room. Well, I don't think everybody completely understands. My craft room is actually part of our store. I craft where when anybody comes in our store, they can see me. They can see me at my desk crafting. So I'm just like in the back corner. So I don't really have a craft room per se. I just have a corner. I have a little corner, which is fine. This is all I need, because if I had anything bigger, you know what I would do? It would be stuffed full. I used to have this whole room, this whole shop. We call it a shop, it's a store. I used to have the whole store where I just filled it up with all kinds of stuff. But you know what? It was too much. I got to the point where I couldn't even find what I was looking for because I had so much. So I'm happy with my little corner. I mean, I say little, it's not very little, but I have all kinds of things here in my corner ready to use. Look at that. I love that now. Very, very pretty. So, you know, everything is basically within sliding distance with my chair. My chair rolls, so I can just roll my chair back and forth and around. And I've got my work desk over to my left. So anytime I am doing, you know, orders or doing newsletters or working on the website, anything like that, I can flip around there and work on my computer. And then when I am working on videos and things like I'm doing now, I'm at my other desk. So I have two desks here. They're kind of in an L shape. And believe me, both of them are always full of stuff. I'm tearing this because I thought I would make just some skinny tags with these. I thought that would be neat to just make some skinny tags. And I need to tear that a little bit straighter. Well, I tore it a little bit more crooked, but anyway, we can make some skinny tags with these. So we would just ink this up well, and then put this down on a backing or on a tag form. There we go. We'll just tear pieces, and that way it will just look like it is meant to be. So let's tear another little piece out here since I got it a little bit crooked. And we'll chop this corner off. And we'll tear a little piece right here and just kind of fold it back. I'll show you up close in just a minute. And then I ink that I folded back. Okay, so that's ready to go down on a tag base. I like that. Okay, this one, same thing. I would do the same thing with it. I'd just tear a few places and have a tag ready, and it's ready to go down on a tag base. Let's just say this was a tag base. It was ready to go down there. You could put it on a wider tag. So that is about ready to go. Let's see. I think I've done, well, no, I haven't done this. Let's grab this. I started to say I think I've done one of just about everything, but I'm having problems picking things up. We haven't done anything with one of these, so let's go ahead and tear the bottom of this off. I'm trying to follow my lines. This does have lines on it, so this would be a big journaling card is what I would do with this. So I would round my corners. Now I would put something on the back of this to make it a little bit stronger. You wouldn't have to, but this is just regular, probably copy paper. I purchased this offline, this paper too. But I would put something on the back, and that way it would make it stronger. Yeah, especially since I have done some off stamping back there. And you know what would really be pretty? Let me grab something. You know, all these things come to my brain. Look at that. What if we backed it with that black? Ooh, I think that is pretty. Yes, let's do that. Let's just do it. I do think that's pretty. So I'm just going to lay that down. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to lay it down. If I have to cut it again, that's okay. Especially since I have so many things piled up on my desk that I can't even flatten that out. Well, okay. So, cut this piece off. Whoops. Alright. Now, what I like to do, when I am putting a piece down like this and I'm matting it, because this is called matting. We're going to mat the back of this. Then I take my piece of cardstock and I'm just going to get it as even as I can on there. on the one side and the bottom. Needs to come down just a little bit. Good thing about glue stick is you can move it a little. All right. Press that down well, and then we'll trim this side off. So I hope that answered your question about my craft room and why I don't really just, you know, put a video on and show it. It's because it's really not like it's just a craft room by itself. It's my store. Now, if you know, we can do a video of the store, showing the store and everything. We can do that if you want us to. All right, look at that. I love that. Okay. All right, guys, I think we have done one of everything that we stamped. I do believe. I'm looking around and I think we have. So I will let you go. Hope you do a lot of this stamping too. Show us some ideas that you have. I know you guys have got better ideas than I do, especially. So show us ideas of things that you have done. These are just a few things that we got finished. The words are not ready to go in the journal, but they will be as soon as I cut them out. So it's just a few pieces. Isn't that neat? All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.